Welcome home, horror fans. My name's Adam.
And I'm Zoe, and these are the 10 saddest moments from the Saw franchise.
The ones that had us tearing up when we saw them.
Yeah, the ones that pull on your heartstrings quite a bit. I wouldn't say there's too many sad moments in the Saw franchise. You tend to watch it knowing people are going to die and horrible things are going to happen to people.
Yeah.
But there are a few.
That's right. Normally we're smiling while people die in this franchise, but there are some sad moments, and we thought, why not do a top 10 on them? So let's start with number 10.
At number 10, we have Adam being left behind.
Don't leave me. No. 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 What?
Poor old Adam. You know, when Dr. Gordon finally did cut his foot off and disappeared from that bathroom, he did say he was going to come back and give Adam help. What happened here?
Adam being left behind is elevated like throughout the whole franchise. It just tends to get worse and worse because you have Dr. Gordon promising that it will come back for Adam. And then the next film, there's a flashback that Amanda went and killed Adam. And then to make matters worse, you see that Dr. Gordon is still alive at the end and he just decided never to go back for him in the first place. So Adam cops it. It's very sad.
It's very
story.
sad.
Yeah.
It's very, very sad. Poor old Adam, you know, first he gets to witness Dr. Gordon cutting off his own foot. And then Dr. Gordon says, oh, I'm going to go get help. Would I lie to you?
I have to go and get help. Don't worry. I'll bring someone back. I promise.
He was lying the whole time. He didn't get any help.
His test was never very fair anyway. It was like, Adam, you've got to escape the room. Dr. Gordon, you've got to kill Adam. Like, poor Adam.
Yeah.
Adam's just a guy.
He didn't really get a chance,
No,
you know.
he was
Jigsaw
never given a chance.
literally gets up and says, oh, that key was in the bath at the end of Saw 1. Like, he never had a chance to get the key.
No.
Like, the first thing happens in the very first film, we see the key go down the plug hole. At what point did Adam even get a chance to get out of here?
No.
And of course, the saddest part of all this is, like you said, when Amanda comes back, she is crying like crazy. She really doesn't look like she wants to do it. And she kills Adam, which we never see really the final gasp of Adam. But look, kills Adam, so look, you can always come back, but technically she comes back and finishes the job, and that's particularly sad.
It is very sad. It's sad for Adam, it's sad for her.
Yes.
She doesn't want to do
Sad
it.
for both of them.
Very sad story.
Yeah, those two could have had a thing, I feel like.
Can I take your picture? Right.
Well, yeah, it was alluded to in a
little
deleted
bit.
scene, I suppose.
A little
but
bit.
yeah, I doubt it.
It was.
I doubt it.
You never know. You never know. Moving on to number 9.
At number 9, we have Jeff burning his son's possessions. This scene was one, like, when I first started watching Saw that always got to me.
It really got to you.
It's so sad to see him contemplating saving someone's life by destroying everything that his son ever owned. It's so upsetting.
It's upsetting. It is sad. This one's really just John Kramer being a big meanie.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah, you got to burn all your kids' possessions. This is all you've got left, you know. The dead kid's gone, and now get rid of all his stuff.
Yep.
Very sad, you know. And almost surprising that Jeff would go through with it. He doesn't seem very, caring towards the judge in the trap at the moment. He's sort of taunting. He's telling him to shut up. He doesn't really care. And then he does do it. He actually burns his kids' possessions.
And I think that goes to show that Jeff, although he holds on to this revenge and hatred towards the people that wronged him and wronged his son, he's not a bad person by any means. I know that I couldn't destroy all my dead son's possessions.
Not even to save somebody's life.
Not even to save someone's life. So he's better than me.
What if it was to save like 10 people's lives or something?
Nah.
No, you don't care. Just keep those toys.
Yeah.
They're worth it.
They are 100% worth more than that judge's life.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that's the thing, you know, for all you Jeff haters, he did pretty well to do this, and he did actually put some effort in here and there, so let's not complain too much. Moving on to number 8.
At number 8, we have Eric Matthews on ice.
Eric Matthews on ice. This does sound like a nice little maybe live event that we should go buy tickets to. But Eric Matthews on ice, of course, is him in Saw 4 being strung up on a nice big ice block and just being a blubbering mess. The
It's
poor
so
bastard.
sad. Eric Matthews turns into this shell of a man in Saw 4. He's over it. He doesn't want to play the game anymore. he tries to kill himself. It's just he's so done with life.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to see. Donnie Wahlberg's performance is fantastic, and you just feel so bad for him. Even though Eric Matthews is terrible, you still feel so bad for him.
I don't know. We love Eric Matthews.
We do love him.
But
he's not a good person, but we love him.
Yes. But yeah, his performance, it really is Donnie's performance here. The way he blubbers, the way he's sort of just probably, honestly, I feel like the most defeated person in the entire franchise. In every small moment that we get with him in Saw 4, we absolutely love it. The performance is so great. And it is sad, he's so energetic and so full of life in Saw 2. And to see him in Saw 4 just this destroyed human being.
He's completely over it.
It's so great. It really is great. And it really brings gravitas to this film.
I don't think it's great. I think it's very sad.
It's sad,
it's
but
very sad.
Yeah, but that's why we love it. It really
You
pulls.
love it. I don't love it
so much.
I don't love it.
I think
rate
Donnie Wahlberg would be very proud of this performance,
Oh, his performance is phenomenal, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about him being that
Being sad?
upset
Yeah.
that I don't really want to watch.
Yeah. What about his death? You like that part?
Yeah, I do like that part, actually. I do.
That's fun. Crying, no. But head being squashed between two bricks of ice, yes.
Yes.
Very good. All right, what have we got next?
At number 7, we have Hoffman meets Jigsaw.
She was my only family.
Everybody deserves a chance.
You didn't see the blood? You didn't see what he fucking did to her?
Hoffman meeting Jigsaw, of course, one of our favourite scenes, being that Hoffman's in it.
Yeah, this moment is very complex. Like, it
Yes.
is, there's so many layers to this scene. You have Hoffman meeting Jigsaw for the first time, him being confronted by Jigsaw for creating a trap and framing Jigsaw, even though it wasn't Jigsaw's doing. And then you get to learn a little bit more about Hoffman's backstory and why he is the way he is, the death of his sister. And Hoffman, yeah, he cries a little bit.
He goes a little bit cry. It's probably one of the best character development moments
Absolutely,
in the entire Saw franchise. We really get to open Mark Hoffman right up. We get some great backstory here. We see a lot of emotion, and we see obviously very good reason as to why he did what he did to Seth Baxter. And it's fantastic. Costas Mandylor, of course, the actor who plays Mark Hoffman, really giving his all
Really
in
sells
this
it, yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
The anger that he has towards Seth Baxter. You didn't see the blood.
Yeah.
Really great. It's just one of these very memorable moments. And of course, the meeting between these two, it's a very big moment for the franchise. It's sort of the induction of Mark Hoffman as a disciple, but especially sad when we see him, this flashback of him, of course, finding his sister's dead body and it turning him into a bit of a depressed boy, let's say, as he is.
I think this scene does really well to show how much of a manipulator John Kramer is as well.
Yeah.
Poor Hoffman never wanted to be in the situation that he was in. He did end up being a cold-blooded killer towards the end.
He did.
But he had his hand twisted. He had to do what was being asked of him, and he had to become that person, all thanks to John Kramer. Should have just let Hoffman get away with it, Kramer. Come on.
Yeah, look, and he did torment him about the inferior blade and all that sort of stuff, but we also love what leans on from this with the flashbacks and the abduction of Paul Leahy and Mark Hoffman crying, and there's just so much that moves on from this, and we enjoy this scene specifically because it really is such a great moment for him to display emotion and also give us that great character development. So fantastic, really great scene, and that brings us to the next one.
At number 6, we have Jeff accidentally kills his wife, Lynn.
Jeff's back. He's back with another sad scene. Look, you guys cry just watching Jeff in general, we know. But this is another scene which is quite sad. There's a few things to take note here.
A lot of elements.
In this scene. And of course, the major one being that he does set in motion the death of Lynn by accident. And then the way it all ends with him sort of just sitting there crying with a headless corpse that was once his wife. Very sad.
It's very, very sad. And then to hear that not only did he accidentally kill his wife by trying to save her, by killing the person that has captured them both.
And getting his vengeance.
He also is unaware of the whereabouts of his only remaining child.
Very sad.
I don't know what John was thinking during Saw 3, because he was out for vengeance.
He was just out being evil.
I mean, I suppose it does make sense after the events of Saw X and, like, being so angry that people would wrong him so badly. But poor Jeff and Lynn get put through the runner in this. Like, it's horrible.
You would think that Jeff was the worst man on the planet, the way that John Kramer sort of just ruins his entire life and everybody around him.
His entire life.
Yeah.
And, like, you know what? Bobby Dagan, fair enough. He deserves it. What did Jeff do again? Like, he
was sad.
He wanted revenge against the person who killed his
Yeah.
son.
Yeah, he was really sad.
This is probably the worst that any character has gotten in the entire franchise. And not even that, but then everyone has the nerve to hate on Jeff. So not only has he been through the worst circumstances ever, but everyone hates him.
Yeah, John Kramer
just
did
not very fair.
John Kramer did a great job here. You know, Jeff's son's dead, and then he goes and kidnaps the daughter, kills the wife, kills him, and makes everybody hate him. He's done a great job. He's really done a great
And then
propaganda
Jeff ends
here.
up dead anyway. So.
Yeah, so very sad, of course, on all fronts. And at the end of the day, too, Saw 3 in general, just a sad ending with a lot of deaths here. So we definitely have to talk about this one, but especially if you haven't seen it, the special edition of the ending here with, you can see it on YouTube, Jeff sitting with his lifeless Lynn and just crying alongside
Caressing her hair.
caressing her and just
Which
loving on her
I
dead
honestly
body.
like better. I think that it adds a lot more emotion to Jeff as a character. Not that he needs it, because he's already quite emotional and there's a lot of depth to him. But it just shows that he is broken, and the events that have happened have completely destroyed his life, as it would. It's horrible to watch, but I definitely suggest watching it because it is the superior ending in my opinion.
Yeah, behind the scenes, the cast and crew actually commended the actor on such a great performance to be able to sit there and basically cry alongside this headless corpse of Lynn. It was very, very sad. And that brings us to number 5.
At number 5, we have Gabriella's death. I feel like a lot of these moments have a lot of elements to it, and this is definitely another one. Gabriella does win her test. She survives the radiation trap. She's not in a good way, but she does survive, and in John and Amanda's eyes is rehabilitated. But before Amanda can rush her to the hospital, Cecilia gets her hands on Gabriella and breaks her neck.
Yes, there's a few things going on here, like you said. So it's sad because, you know, she did pass her test and she was horribly disfigured after it, pretty much. And really, it's Amanda's response to the death that really gets to you when you realize how much it matters to her that Cecilia's going to kill Gabriella after they were supposed to let her live.
It does show like how delusional Amanda is as well, with the idea that she really does believe that Gabriella's been rehabilitated and doesn't deserve to die. You see a lot throughout the film that Amanda already feels a lot for Gabriella.
Defending her.
Being that Gabriella is a drug addict just like Amanda was. So yes, seeing her reaction to Gabriella be killed by Cecilia and call her a bitch and tell her she's crazy and psychotic while Amanda's out kind of doing the same thing, it's hard to watch because Amanda generally believes she's doing the right thing.
Little bit of a double standard going on.
It's a tough watch.
But, you know, Gabriella probably was one of the most innocent in this group.
If there was any.
If there was any, but you can't say that she had a big part, I suppose, in the scam. She was just sort of hanging out, I guess, like pretending that Cecilia had helped her, you know, she saved my life. But she didn't really, she just tried to give John food and drink a lot of the time. She didn't really do much else.
I mean, she probably did like the wrong thing by knowing about it, much like Henry Kessler. Like Henry Kessler didn't have much of a role in it other than faking being cured as well. So they're both guilty by association, but no, they weren't directly in the operating room giving the ruse that they were curing John.
Taking the money.
Gabriella's death is extremely sad. You think that she's going to get out of it safe, much like Diego did at the start. But no, unfortunately, she is killed by Cecilia, and Amanda has a horrific reaction to that
Very
event,
big reaction to it.
which makes it very, very emotional.
That's right, yeah. Amanda's reaction, of course, is the big one for this. It serves as a scene to show Cecilia as evil as they can possibly make her, at the expense of Gabriella's life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So very, very sad. And that brings us to number 4.
At number 4, we have Amanda and John's heart-to-heart.
another Saw X sad moment.
Yep, just like we just said,
just
it is an
like
emotional
mentioned.
film.
Yes.
And here's another moment from Saw X where Amanda and John have a little heart-to-heart about where they see the future going, and Amanda asking John not to give up.
Yeah, this is Amanda effectively pushing John on after he's almost given up. He's been scammed. He realized that the cancer's probably just going to take its toll. And she's like, I need you. I can't do this without you. And if you haven't seen the deleted scenes, this is a very important scene because there's actually much more in the deleted scene. This conversation goes on way longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's far better, than you would expect. It's actually probably one of the strongest scenes. And when we watch the deleted scene, we're like, why did they delete this? This is crazy. The
It
performance
gives
between these two is
Amanda
amazing.
so much character development,
much.
the deleted scene. But to see John and Amanda embrace each other and be crying about the future and where they see things going, and John really coming to the terms with the fact that he has cancer and he's going to die. John at the start of the film believes that he can be cured by a miracle treatment, and now in this scene he knows that there's no way out for him. He is going to die. Amanda is still trying to be that one to push him on and say, maybe talk to Cecilia's dad, there could still be hope. But ultimately John has come to terms with his fate.
Yes.
And Amanda can't accept that.
And we get these beautiful tears shed by both the characters that kind of almost make you tear up a little bit when you see it.
Definitely.
And this scene kind of almost makes us feel like we owe it to Amanda that John has continued to move on, and that's why we see the operation in Saw 3 of him trying to survive. So it's a pretty important scene, and in terms of the deleted scene, it is hard to get your hands on. You probably need a disc, or we do have a really great video on our channel talking more about the deleted scene and really what it meant by deleting it. So if you haven't seen that video of ours, definitely check it out after this one. Otherwise, that brings us to the top 3 saddest
top
scenes.
3.
So here we go at number 3.
At number 3, we have one that you all probably expected to be here. It is Joyce Dagan's death.
Joyce Dagan's death. Yes, you guys seem to talk about Joyce Dagan a lot. You all feel very ripped off by her death.
Absolutely, and I completely understand. I think growing up seeing Saw 3D, Joyce Dagan's death hit hard because she doesn't deserve to be there. She's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she isn't aware that her husband's a shit. But the more I go on with it and realize that Bobby Dagan is terrible, I'm like, he kind of deserves it. Let's be honest.
And also, I do people like to say about Joyce did nothing, yada yada, but I just think like Bobby Dagan's obviously, like you said, a shit. I feel like she should have known better. Like, come on. Maybe she didn't deserve to be burnt in a brazen bull and everything.
No,
but
definitely not.
At the same time, she should have realized this guy's someone you don't want to be too involved with.
Absolutely. I mean, in her defense, like Bobby Dagan definitely did put on a ruse for everyone, including her. Like she was much like the public, just under the impression that he was this great guy that had survived a saw trap and been through hell and back. And also, she really did cop one of the worst traps in the entire franchise. No one wants to be burnt to death. And then not only that, she's relying on the shit who has lied to her for a whole life to try and save her.
Yes.
It is a tough situation to be in. It's definitely very sad to see her demise, especially when all she did was marry an asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very unfortunate.
That's right. It's always sad to see, and every time you know what's coming, all you can do is sit back and just sigh and think, Jesus, I tell you what, it's a shame. It really wish that Bobby Dagan could have been the one to die in that brazen bull instead of her.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame. And it's sad for us to know that he pretty much gets away scot-free while she dies. That's the really sad thing about this.
I hope we never see Bobby Dagan again.
Unless it's just to be put into a trap and die horribly.
Yes,
That
in
we
which
could get
case,
around.
show us Bobby Dagan again.
Yes, we can do that. And that's not necessarily a bad idea for you producers watching out there.
Definitely
so,
not. Opening trap for Saw 11.
Absolutely. Let's see him get his just desserts. That would be great. And that brings us to number 2.
At number 2, we have John thinks he's been cured.
After that, what happens then?
Your whole life happens then.
For me, this was actually quite an emotional, sad moment.
Absolutely.
And especially because we know that he's not been cured, and while he thinks he has been. Yes.
I honestly struggle to think if Saw X, when it was in development, whether it was going to be effective or not, knowing what we know and knowing that he dies. But they pull it off so well. The scene where John finds out that he hasn't in fact been cured, the music in the background, the tense moments building up towards the moment where he finds out that he hasn't been cured, it's all so emotional.
So emotional. I'm going to say that in this scene, it's obviously we do know that he's been scammed and everything. But in this scene, when he wakes up and he has this conversation with Cecilia, he sheds a tear, he goes outside, he enjoys the sunlight, he starts basically throwing away the idea of making saw traps even. It's all so emotional, and you really have to owe it to Tobin Bell, who at his point in life is giving the performance of his lifetime. Just the way he sells it. Like, you just can't fathom that he's pulling this off. He's been great in all the movies, but his performance in Saw X, wow, and it just makes me emotional. I've seen the film many, many times, and I can sit there and just really take in how emotional this scene is to watch after all these years. He is just perfection, and I'm also going to give credit to Kevin Grudett for directing this so beautifully as well. Kevin, you did an amazing job with this scene. I'm just going to say.
This
really,
scene
really
is
well.
elevated so much further as well by John going to give Gabriella a bottle of wine, I think it is, or whatever he's after. He goes back and he tries to pay his respects and thank her for her, involvement in the curing of his cancer. And then, even the lengths he goes to do that by using his engineering and geometry skills to find the location where he was. It's all just so depressing.
Yeah, it's depressing, but it is beautiful the way it builds and builds. And like I said, I love the moment he wakes up and the moment he goes and buys the gift and just the layers that they put on this scene. Really fantastic. And you can't fault it. I'm going to say, Saw X, it was the highest rated film for a reason, and I think it's because of the emotional depth that they really brought.
Absolutely.
And for
me, all the characters.
Yeah, that's right. Some people do just love the traps, I will say, but for me, this scene is so good. It's one of the highlights of the film, and very sad.
Yeah,
very,
absolutely.
very sad. Poor old John. Just couldn't catch a break.
No.
Poor bastard.
He definitely couldn't.
So I guess you're thinking realistically now, what is the saddest? What's the saddest moment in the Saw franchise? We've made it to number one.
I think this was a fairly easy pick for us.
A fairly easy pick? Well, let's put him out of the misery. What is it? Number one.
At number one, we have Amanda's death.
So help me. Fix me, motherfucker. Standing right here.
Amanda's death is expanded on in pretty much all of the films. It's not just the Saw 3 in which we see it. You've got the fact that she dies. You've got the fact that she's being tested at the same time and she didn't know about it the entire time. You've also got the fact that she's being blackmailed by Hoffman. So much leads to this moment, and the way it's executed is fantastic.
Fantastic. And I will say that cherry on top really is, of course, Shawnee Smith as Amanda's performance in this scene. She really nails it, and there's a big revelation of her coming forward and saying, it's all a lie. No one's rehabilitated. This is all bullshit. Which is funny because obviously she's just spent movies worth of time with John trying to rehabilitate people through these traps, and now coming forward saying she doesn't believe any of it, John.
It's bullshit. Nobody changes. It's a lie.
And also, I think that she has been treated kind of poorly, especially in Saw 3.
Horribly by
Not
John.
well,
And that's another element to it. I understand that John is pushing her away and seeing how she'll react to that because, of course, he's not always going to be there and he wants to know that she is capable of taking on his life's work. So I can understand why it happened. But from Amanda's perspective, this drives her to self-harming. It drives her to pretty much overthrow everything. And of course there's Hoffman's layered to that as well, where he blackmails her to killing Lynn Denlin in the first place. But there is a lot of people against Amanda that ultimately drive this scene to happen.
Yes. All she really wanted was to get John Kramer's approval.
Yeah, to impress him.
And towards the end, which Saw 3 is the end of these two characters' arcs, he really kind of just ended up basically treating her worse. And we see scenes throughout the film of him seem to favoring Lynn over Amanda, and Amanda just getting very emotional the entire time, like you said, from self-harm to finally really pulling out a gun and losing it completely.
Yeah.
She just has this really sad arc in Saw 3 where she just spirals downwards, which ends in her death, and it's very sad. It's really, really sad to see.
Absolutely. It's a hard scene to watch every time, and I think like moments like Saw 5 when Storm dies, you always really look forward to that. Although it's sad, it's like, yes, this is so exciting. Like I want to see this epic moment, but you never want to see Amanda die. John dying, fine. Amanda, you never want to see that moment where she is killed because it's so emotional. It's another character who has just been through the run of it all, much like Jeff has. You don't want to see her in any pain.
You don't want to see it. And
No.
John Kramer, of course, does die in this same scene, but it's not as sad,
It's definitely not. It's definitely overshadowed by Amanda's performance and everything that she has been through.
Yeah.
And the course that leads to this moment for her character. I love it. I think it's an amazing scene. I think it will forever be one of the most emotional scenes in the Saw franchise. I don't understand. I don't know how they're ever going to up the ante on a further emotional scene as the movies start to get bigger and bigger. But yeah, definitely a favorite.
Absolutely. And I think for us, it just had to be obviously a top spot because she's such a big character. And unlike John, she didn't ask for this death. John kind of, you can smile, he's smiling as he sort of gets killed. For her, she just sort of had her life ruined by John, really. I mean, it wasn't great in the first place. But
Jeff, Amanda both have their entire lives ruined.
Unfortunately so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately so. And that is our top 10 saddest moments from the Saw franchise. Of course, we'd love to hear your input as what you thought the saddest moments were.
There were definitely a few honourable mentions, but not everything can be included.
Definitely.
I think Amanda's death is definitely one of the saddest, but if there's anything that you think is sadder, we'd love to hear it.
Absolutely, guys. So get writing down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time, guys.
Game over.